Hello everyone, it's Moonkin FTW and welcome back to another episode of the RCT3 Coaster Challenge. In this episode 51, we're tackling the Spinning Wild Mouse, which is a roller coaster I have some pretty cool ideas for. Because one of the options for the types of trains are these pumpkins, which of course spin around. And I thought to myself, okay, you know what, if they're pumpkins, might as well make some sort of like a Halloween/Dracula themed ride. Now, because this is a spinning wild mouse, the layout is going to be pretty compact, as with most wild mouses. I mean, makes sense because most of these roller coasters don't have very big turns or any very large inversions, so obviously the layout's going to be pretty compact. And I have some pretty cool ideas for this when it comes to theming, because of course, since this is a Halloween Dracula themed ride, I'm going to go ahead and use that type of theming that Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 has in the game. Before we do that though, we're going to tackle the custom supports, which is quite finicky because, I've said this before a few times, that when the track is very thin and see-through like this one, it's very hard to connect the custom supports to the track itself. You can see me kind of messing around with that. So it's not going to line up perfectly, but it's going to be pretty decent. I mean, fortunately the add-on I'm using, Moby Steel Jungle, is pretty versatile, and you're able to there are some pieces like the vertical cap offset and everything, so you're able to at least kind of connect all of these supports to the track. So that's pretty good. So we're just going to go over it, and again, this owes me a decent amount of time, but it's not too bad. So here we can start incorporating the Halloween Dracula theme style, and I thought about kind of incorporating this ride into kind of a castle theme. So here we have this kind of large tower that you go up. You go into this vertical lift hill, and you're still enclosed. So when you reach the top, you go out of this tower, and then you're kind of met with how high you are. So it's kind of like this suspense mystery effect, if you will. I'm not sure if that makes much sense. So the rest of the ride, of course, I'm going to completely, surround it with this castle theming. So I'm just going to slowly but surely build it up, where I'm okay. Small building here. Main entrance here and walls there, and you'll see that as we go through the ride. So here we have the final section of the track, which is of course the brake run, and I'm going to incorporate this entire section of the track, so to say, into kind of like, again, a big building, a big castle building, like a mansion or something. I'm going to try my best to also add some theming inside the ride with these objects. And that's kind of what I'm doing. It's going pretty well so far. And we're just going to keep going over the ride until we've covered all our ground. So here we have that building done. That's for the brake run, so to say. And now we can focus on this side. So this side is actually going to have a pretty large building with multiple stories. And I thought it would be pretty cool because if I make it this large, there are some ways where there are some times where you ride this roller coaster and you go through this kind of building, and then you go outside of this building, and all in all, it should give a pretty nice kind of riding experience, if you will. It does mean that there is some. I have to finick around a little bit with the supports, because of course I don't want them sticking through all these floors. So I'm just building the floors, and like, okay, now I need to raise these supports a little bit so that they're not going through all these different stories, so to say. So when it comes to the styling, it's pretty basic, I'm just using all these castle walls to kind of encapsulate this ride. And again, like I said, with these objects, I'm just trying to add a bit more flavor to what's on the inside of these buildings. Unfortunately, there's not much I can use, but there's a little bit here and there, some objects I can use. So yeah, just trying to fill in that dead space, because I don't want that you're riding this and you enter this kind of big castle building that there's nothing in there. Of course, that would be kind of weird. So I'm just trying to decorate it whatever way I can. So now that this section is almost done, I'm going to try and focus, of course, on the rest, because we are pretty well on our way, but we're not quite there yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a wall around this entire ride. So, again, to kind of really follow that castle theming. And it's also that, if you're riding this, for the most part at least, you're kind of in this area where you're not looking out to a field of grass. I mean, you'll still have that in the higher parts, but again, it's supposed to be like a mansion or a castle, so it's going to have this like castle wall, of course. And inside the castle wall, I'm going to try and in this, I guess, courtyard, or what do you want to call it, I'm going to try and build some buildings, There's like this kind of spooky looking windmill that looked nice. Gonna add some gravestones, some pumpkin patches, and just everything to kind of help with the theming of the ride, of course. And yeah, we're definitely moving along quite nicely. I'm gonna try and implement just a few trees here to again add more, add more scenery to this whole thing. So here is the entrance. I'm of course going to incorporate this in the building too, which is of course going to be like the main kind of entrance building, if you will. But I'm just going to still use that, the same theming, so to say. Of course, with the supports, I'm going to add some footers to wherever it's necessary to make sure it's nice, and of course some flanges. I'm not going to add some. I thought about adding some side supports, but there's really no room for it. And I know that these supports for the wild mouse are generally quite, simple, if you will. So I figured, I figured, what, this is good enough for now. So yeah, one of the final things we have to do is, of course, make this building for the entrance and the station. So again, I'm using just the same style. I'm using the same roof with these windows, and of course the that kind of castle wall. I'm not sure what to call it, with the stones that go up and down, so to say. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this ride. Just gonna add the top roof here, some final adjustments, and I believe that's it for the spinning wild mouse. So yeah, that's it for the spinning wild mouse. I think it looks absolutely awesome. It's really cool to see that you can select different themed trains, just like in RCT 1 and 2. And this pumpkin type of train really helps with, it really enhances the kind of Halloween castle Dracula theming, if you will. So I'm actually pretty excited. I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. With spinning wild mouse, you don't have a lot of options when it comes to track pieces. So yeah, theming is really mandatory, so to say, to make this nice. So I think what I'm going to do is, because this is a spinning coaster, I think I'm going to give you guys a POV what it's like in this passenger seat, and then one that's just stable, steady in front. Because I imagine that this spinning view will be very disorienting. Fun fact: I really don't like spinning roller coasters in real life. I hate it. I'm really bad with that sensation. I just like to look in front. I don't like to be spun around like that. Some people like it though. It's not my type. It's not my cup of tea. Here we go into this bigger drops here. Yeah, we're being flung around quite quite intensely. A little overbank curve, which I like. Into the castle building here. We got some theming here, left and right. So that's it's looking pretty good. Nice, and there we go. And that is the spinning POV. We can go ahead and move over to just the regular POV, so you guys can check that out as well. So let me just change the card here. Yeah, there we go. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. So now let's take a look with the stable cam just in front, so we can kind of see the track layout and everything. Here we go, over the castle building here, into our first big vertical drop. Oh, that's nice, with the little fog there. I like that. Into some, yeah, I'm not sure what these are called, like 180-degree turns. They have a special name for these switchbacks or something like that. There we go. Another decent drop here. So you go right next to that big building right there. And a drop with the fog. Our overbank turn, which is really cool. I like that. And then we go into this big building here with a little bit of theme here and there. Nice, and into the brake run. And there you go. That is the spinning wild mouse done. I'm actually really happy with the way it turned out. I love the theming, the color scheme. It's kind of like the same theming and the same color scheme as I believe the flying coaster. Actually, I'm going to just delete this right here because I noticed this during the POV. Yeah, there we go. So I really like it. It's kind of got the same feeling as the flying coaster I did. But all in all, it's a great little coaster here. I'm definitely going to upload this to Park Crafters, I believe, or RCT Go. But yeah, really happy with it. Looks great. I hope you guys liked it too. This was the spinning wild mouse, episode 51 in the bag. And thank you guys as always as watching. I'll be back pretty soon with episode 52. But until then, have yourself a wonderful day.